Welcome to the Global Top 9. Today we are going to cover the 9 wealthiest drug dealers of all time. Being a drug dealer is no easy job, and it needs the person to take a lot of risks and break a lot of rules. Some people choose that life, as with all the hardships comes power and a lot of money until the cartel leaders are caught and put into prison. But before the prison bars comes the massive wealth they manage to hoard up. They're a fascinating collection of powerful men and women who lived violent or strange lives while amassing some of the greatest fortunes imaginable. Government officials and acquaintances viewed these criminals and businessmen as some of the most fearful on earth. Many of these landed on official most wanted lists in several countries. Intriguing is the strong connections they had to other criminals, or the reliance on keeping to themselves. Many were part of family businesses that made the richest drug dealers who they were. Amazing, too, is the incredibly accurate net worth attributed to each, based on government and law enforcement records, and in some cases photos of huge piles of money retrieved during police raids. Here are some 9 drug dealers who made so much money by trading in illegal drugs. Let's get started. Number 9. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Lara. Joaquin was a Mexican drug lord and was the head of the Sinaloa cartel. Better known as El Chapo, he was responsible for running one of the most successful drug organizations ever. He founded the Sinaloa cartel in the year 1989 and built it to be a drug empire. He was known for his connections, power, and influence, and is well known for being able to escape maximum security prisons in his own country. At one point, El Chapo was believed to be one of the world's richest people, with his net worth at $1 billion. At his peak, El Chapo had over $14 billion and was still making even when jailed. Now you can see his wealth being splurged on his son's social media accounts. Number 8. Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha. Better known as El Mexicano, this Colombian drug lord was a proud believer in the Mexican culture. He was also one of the many founders of the Medellin cartel and is known to have discovered and built new routes from Mexico to the United States in order to traffic the maximum amount of drugs. He was also responsible for setting up and establishing many labs all over Gacha jungles and had employed many workers to manufacture cocaine. While he was still in control and power, his net worth was said to be over $5 billion. He was eventually caught by the Colombian police but blew himself up with a grenade. Number 7. Ocoa Brothers. The Ocoa Brothers were 3 ferocious brothers who were also involved in the formation of the infamous Medellin cartel and were responsible for about 30% of the cartel's cocaine business and trade. They were the owners of a large fleet of planes and had about 55 aircrafts which flew in the cocaine. In order to avoid extradition to the USA, the brothers came up with a smart and elaborate plan. The brothers decided to surrender to the Colombian government and were made to serve a minimum period of around 5 years each, and were eventually released. Jorge is still alive, while Juan died and Fabio was extradited. Number 6. Griselda Blanco. Griselda is the only woman who made the list due to her ruthless and merciless attitude. She was one of the most dangerous drug dealers and was also known as the cocaine godmother. When it came to competition, she is known to have ordered the murder of over 200 rivals and anyone else who dared to stand in her way. Blanco's assets are said to be an estimated $2 billion. During the 1980s, she was actively involved and present during the Miami drug war. In 1985, she was finally arrested, but managed to control and run her business from inside the jail. She passed away in the year 2012 when she was shot in the head. Number 5. Carlos Enrique Rivas. Carlos Enrique was a drug lord from Colombia who had control over some parts of the United States and some parts of Colombia. Carlos purchased an entire island to help run his operations. He bought every single property in the Bahamian island and made it his home base. The island was carefully guarded by bodyguards, ferocious dogs, airstrips, as well as radar. His assets were worth an estimated $2.7 billion. He was a big fan of Adolf Hitler and a self-proclaimed Nazi. After he was arrested, he was sentenced to life, but in the year 1992, the sentence was reduced because of his testament against Manuel Noriega. Number 4. Goberto or de Huela and Miguel or de Huela. The Rodriguez brothers were known as the Gentlemen of Cali and were the founders of the Cali cartel. They had a very different approach to dealing with their problems, and unlike other cartels, they bribed their way to success rather than resort to violence. When the cartel's income and business were peaking, they had control over more than 90% of the world's cocaine and had a net worth of $3 billion. Both brothers were arrested from their homes, where one was found in a bathroom cabinet and one was in a secret closet. The brothers were extradited to the United States. Number 3. Dawood Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the founder of the Indian organized crime organization known as the D Company, and he is the leader and a terrorist. It is believed that he was responsible for the 1993 Mumbai blasts, and since then he has been dubbed as a global terrorist. He is also close to the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda and was in communication with none other than Osama bin Laden himself when he was alive. In the year 2011, he was listed as the world's third wealthiest and richest drug dealer with an estimated worth of $6.7 billion. Number 2. Amado Cadillo Fuentes. One of the most powerful Mexican drug dealers of all times, Cadillo Fuentes was known to be ruthless and violent. In order to maintain discipline and establish his power, he would decapitate his rivals and mutilate their corpses. These bodies would then be dumped in public places for all those to see and be aware of the consequences of crossing the mafia. This mafia is believed to have assets worth more than $25 billion and a fleet of around 22 aircrafts, which were used to traffic the drugs. Cadillo underwent many plastic surgeries to avoid the police and escape. However, he died on an operating table at the young age of 40. Number 1. Pablo Escobar. Escobar was the leader of the Medellin cartel and had control over 80% of the total cocaine imports into the United States. He is one of the most feared cartel leaders of all time and has killed over 1,000. He was gunned down in the year 1993. It is believed that he had assets worth $30 billion and an estimated $20 billion which were buried across Colombia. He was able to smuggle around 70 to 80 tons of coke every single month. Pablo was also known as the Robin Hood of Medellin and did a lot for his community by building schools, hospitals, and churches. His fame even earned him the TV show Narcos, in which the first 2 seasons are dedicated to his life and exploits. That rounds up our list of the 9 wealthiest drug dealers of all time. Share your comments below. Please subscribe to our channel and smash the like button. We'll see you on the next video.